to the stage. There we go. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to talk about love and marriage Huntsville. So let me make sure. Let me take my glasses off so whoever's taking pictures can get a good shot. Got it? Anywho, y'all. We're going to talk about love and marriage Huntsville today. I am using some time that I had set aside to do something else, sending out emails, and I am going to talk about love and marriage Huntsville. Let me first speak to everybody in the chat. Hello, Mrs. AK, Miss AKA 1908, baby. You better represent your sorors and your sorority. Hello, Living for Me, 75, Bad Girl Riri. I am so glad that you guys joined me today on this live. Y'all know I'm new to this, so I'm just really trying to figure out what all happens when you're on here. I've been playing with my StreamYard, trying to decide if I want to pay for it or not. So right now I'm just fiddling with it because I don't really know anything about it. So I'm just trying to see if I can iron the king side of it. So far I'm liking it, but we'll see where that goes. Anywho, we're going to talk about a recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville from last week, and got a lot to talk about. I was in a meeting, thought I missed. Hey, Symmetry, thanks for coming in. I really appreciate everybody for coming in here. We're just gonna have some fun, get some giggles and some laughs, and let's just open it up and talk about what happened on last week's episode. I did not review the first episode, but we're gonna actually hit it with this one, and we're gonna try to carry on and do all of this the rest of the season. Okay, so I'm not sure what the episode was called, but I could find out just 1 minute. Because I was trying to email a lady back about I attend a dinner every year called Danae en Blanc, which is just dinner in white. And I got an email, so I was trying to respond to them because I try to volunteer every year and do something on the team. So that was episode 10. I mean, season 10, episode 2. Let's see what it's called. I am Kenna. I am Kenna. Kenoughh. Kenna. People are bored with that. I enjoyed it too. I think once you sit down and really paid attention, people are so used to drama, right? For some reason, people act like they can't exist unless there is drama. But it was a decent episode. It felt kind of like a filler episode, but it was very good. It gave us some really good info. It was very family oriented. I enjoyed the fact that Tisha showed up to the construction site with her children. I enjoyed all of that. I think next week is going to be even better with Maurice talking to Jalen and the discussion about just some family stuff, because believe it or not, reality isn't all drama, right? On my daily life, it's not filled with drama. And I think that is what we need to realize. My daily activities, most of us go to work, we handle business, and then after work, we come home, we feed our children, put them to sleep, and we take care of our home, right? So there's going to be some drama in our lives, and we're going to argue with the sister, we're going to argue with the brother, the cousin, the friend, but that's not an everyday activity. So with that being said, this episode was really a good episode. It hit where it needed to hit. It landed in some really good spots. I agree with Symmetry. People want their real lives, and there isn't drama in real life. It's just not. Your real life is not full of drama every single day. We have in our lives, there's always going to be some drama, but our lives, that's not it every single day. Every day, there's not drama. I live a life pretty much free of drama. I see more drama on YouTube than I see in my own personal life, which is to me wild. But hey, there's neither here nor there. Not my monkey, not my circus. All right, let's go. The opening of the show, scene 1, is Latricia Ken, Maurice, and Kimmy. They met up at a restaurant to talk about relationship issues. Um, they came in really cozy atmosphere. Ken is talking. Looks like he's taking more of a lead this year as I guess you say the lead of the family, pretty much the lead of their family unit, which I kind of like. They really should seek help. If that's all you got to do every day, you seek help. Because baby, I be over here turning some corners and having some fun. Ain't got time for all that drama. In fact, I walk away. I do very little talking. I do a lot of action. So Kimmy was talking about they talked about relationship issues, some of the drama between Ken, Latricia, or let's say just Trisha. We're gonna drop the la. Trisha and Marquez, I believe is how you pronounce his name. And that their issues are really spilling over into their lives, that is really causing them causing especially Trisha a lot of heartache is what I took from that. Kimmy tells them while they're sitting there about them renovating their current home and living in an Airbnb, which I don't know if anybody picked up on that, but I picked up on that immediately. A lot of times, like I've seen people saying that they didn't know Destiny was a real estate agent. She showed Mel a house seasons ago, but that goes to show that people are really tuning into the show for drama. They're not tuning in to see the whole picture, because the whole picture tells a story. I am here for these storylines. I am so glad that we are going to get individual storylines and no one's basing this show strictly off of one storyline that filters into everybody's lives. Okay. She talked about them living in the Airbnb and how she was ready to go back into her home because they're renovating their downstairs part of their home. Maurice, during the time they're talking, he reminisces about Kiowa and Kimmy and how it was, how their relationship was and how hard it was integrating those relationships. And I believe anytime you have a marriage and you go into a marriage and you have children, you bring those children into that relationship, you have to work on the intertwine and the weaving of those relationships commingling, right? Co-parenting is very hard, but it can work if you do the work, whatever that means. If that means talking to a therapist, if that means going to parenting classes, going to see someone on a regular basis on how to make the co-parenting work, it works. You just have to do the work. Yes, please hit that like button. I'm sorry, y'all. Please like, share, subscribe, do all those things. I'd never say that, but I would love it if you did those things. But co-parenting, like I said, is work. It is work. And if you're divorced as a older, middle-aged woman, 30s, 40s, and most time when you remarry, you're going to marry someone with children, and you yourself may bring children into their relationship. And in doing so, you actually have to learn how to co-parent effectively, because you don't want to bring broken children into this society, right? They have to get out here and they have to function, but they can't function because they've dealt with all the craziness that went on in their household, which is something that I really hope Trish and Ken can get a hold of, because although Ken said, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, he said that the children are not broken, you still want to make sure that you are doing the work to ensure that you are not raising broken children, and that they see a living, productive lifestyle that includes an all-around family, the father, the mother, traveling, vacations, cohesive relationships. You don't want to bring children into this world or into a relationship that's not going to work. So I really enjoyed the conversation. And I'm sure it was more to it than what we saw, because we only see bits and pieces. I'm sure they spoke more, because that co-parenting relationship can probably go around the board. We all could probably have a long relationship when it comes to co-parenting. We could probably all talk about, I'm not saying long relationship, we could probably have a long conversation about co-parenting, especially in, as we grow older, because you learn more as you grow. You should be maturing. If you're not maturing, they have a word for that, but I'm not going to mention it here. Okay. The next thing was Maurice points out that something was making Marquez act the way he was acting, whatever it was. He said that. And I don't actually believe there's anything that's making Marquez act like he's acting. I just think Marquez just has something else going on. But we'll talk about that when we get to that. A married man with no kids, that was definitely an adjustment. But here we are 20 years later. See, I understand that living for me. That is something that you have to take into consideration. When you're looking for a husband, you have to be, even when you're talking to God, be specific about what you want. I want this, 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 and this. When you pray, I want this, this, and this. Same way with me. And when you pray for that wife, pray for what you need and look for those characteristics in that person. Even in relationships, if you're dating, because relationships should be going to a point of something more permanent, right? You shouldn't just be, there are people that date for fun. So I don't want to say that. But if you're in a relationship and you're going for something more permanent, you should be looking for those things that you want to see in another person, right? I want to see this, therefore I'm going to look for someone with these characteristics. I don't want to be with someone who doesn't exhibit those characteristics. But that's another conversation for another day. I also noticed that in the conversation, Ken was very defensive. And I really wish they could have dug into that deeper. I wish that Maurice had just asked him, why are you so defensive? What's going on? What is the reason why you feel like you have to be so defensive? You actually have the woman, you have the children. You lay down the ground rules is really what I would have said. You lay down the ground rules of what you expect in your home. I heard Tisha Scott said yesterday on her live, the kid's really a good guy, that he bought a home and put Latricia and her children in. You don't find men that do that every day. I think he's a very loving guy, but I also think Ken is a little bit controlling, just a little bit. It's just my personal opinion. I like Ken, but I really feel like he's just a tad bit controlling, just a tad bit. But he may have to be, because when you see Trisha she bottles all her stuff up. She doesn't really let it out. I think when she does let it out, she's going to explode. The next scene is Martell and Destiny looking for furniture. When I saw that, I laughed, because I was like, okay, Martell has to film with somebody. And so, of course, Destiny's going to be the one. I like Destiny. That's my girl. Hello, Satin Baby Doll. Thanks for joining. So in the looking for furniture, they're talking, and she's saying, Destiny's asking him the questions, and he says, I'm looking for furniture for my investment property. Arion's going to move into it. And I think I was sitting in front of my TV going, okay. Ariana is going to move into the investment property, and this is the furniture you're going to get her. All the furniture looked like farm style. Maybe just me, but what I saw looked like farm style furniture, and most young women don't want farm style furniture. They want contemporary modern furniture. Most people are not going for the old furniture. It looked like a resale store, but that's neither here nor there. He said I already said he was moving Arion in, his son and Arion's daughter into my crib. And Destiny went, okay. And then he explained it to the investment property. Martell said the Arion is wifey material. Okay. Destiny asked him, have you given her a ring yet? And he said, no, but that may come. He didn't say it was. He said it may come. And I'm gonna double back. Let's see. He said he hasn't given her a ring yet, but looks like he plans on. To me, I said it looks like he plans on doing that. I'm not sure. But he said he plans on doing it. So we go along with whatever Martell says. He brings up the divorce. I think we're 6 years out of the divorce. We're 6 years post-divorce. Let's let it go. I really was hoping we wouldn't have to hear anything about the divorce this year, this season rather, but he brings it up. He brings it up because that's a part of his story. And he said he's reminded of the children every day. So that's, I guess, why he brought up the divorce. He did not mention his ex-spouse's name, but he did bring up the divorce. He did allude to who she was. We all know who she is, so that's no big deal. Destiny told him he was stuck and he should seek help, and I agree. And I don't know what help looks like to Martell, but I think maybe those classes I was talking about, there are groups that meet up post-divorce and they talk every week and they have homework and they learn to explore those things that are triggers for them, because everybody has a trigger, right? We all have a trigger, but some triggers are worse than others. And I think when it comes to Martell, he's triggered by certain things. I think his ex-wife is a trigger, and he has to do the work. You can't just talk about it. You have to do the work because he should be getting over it. And I know getting over it is in his time, but he needs to be moving forward with the future. And as far as Arion goes, if that's his real life, I'm here for it. Show it. This is reality TV. It's not my life. It doesn't affect me in any kind of way. When I get in my little car and I go to the little store and I buy my stuff, I'm not asking Martell or Arion to pay for it. I pay for it, or my husband pays for it. So with that being said, let these people live their life. If he wants to marry Arion, let him marry Arion. That's not the end of the world. There are so many men out here who cheated on their wives and married the side piece. It happens. It's unfortunate, but it happens. And you cannot persecute people for who they love or who they want to be with. You have to just let people be who they are. That's all I'm saying. Let Arion be with Martell and let them have a happy ever after over there. You don't have to be a part of it if you don't like it. I have no beef with either one of them because, again, it's not my life. What they eat don't make me go to the bathroom at all. Destiny talks about dating. And Martell asked her, did she want to date? Was she interested? And she said, yeah, if she finds someone that sparked her interest, that she would be open to dating. But until then, she would be single. And I think that's fair. I think it's fair that if you're not wanting to be serious at this moment, but you are wanting to date, I think it's go date. Destiny has told us that she's celibate. And I believe that when women are celibate, you believe what they say. Who are you to believe someone else's vagina? Don't do that. Let this woman live her life. Let her do what she did. Just like I said about Martell and Arion, I did not put them together. I'm not going to be the person to break them up, but none of us should. Let them live their life. Destiny says that she's out here dating. I am all for women who want to date and enjoy their lives. She's not hurting anybody, because guess what? If she go out with Joe Blow Blue and Joe Blow Blue don't pull out the chair, don't open up the door, and doesn't do all the things that she expects, I expect her to dump Joe Blow Blue on that next time he asks her out. We're not even going to do this, right? And that's the same thing we should be teaching our daughters. If you meet someone, see the red flags immediately. Raise the flag and disappear. Run away. Go away. You don't have to stay there and take any type of treatment from people just to say, I got a man. What is that? What is that? Oh, I got a man. But your man don't do nothing. Your man don't take you out to dinner. Your man don't buy you nothing. Your man don't buy you roses. Your man doesn't treat you like the queen that you are. I believe you date to marry. I believe that. And if you're dating to marry, that man or that woman that you're dating should somehow or another connect. Y'all should be able to connect and be able to build the life that you want from dating. It should start at dating and then move further down. Lord, I saw Symmetry post something. I wanted to look at it. Or women who have cheated on their husband and married their side. Exactly. It goes both ways. I know women, I know some girls that I went to school with cheated on a man and married the side piece. So it goes both ways. And you can't get any madder at when it happens from a woman to a man or a man to a woman. Either way, it's the same story. And I believe everybody should be allowed to live their life. Everybody should be allowed to do whatever they want to do. You are grown. If you are an adult, ain't nobody out here telling y'all what to do. Don't tell these people on this TV what to do. They grown. Just watch it, take it for what it's worth, and move along. I don't apply Love and Marriage Huntsville to my personal life. This is TV, entertainment. Okay. The next scene is Marcel. Marcel at, I want to say they're at him and Letitia at Marcel was originally at the first part of the scene at the site, the construction site or their home that's being built. I always say their life. Exactly. It is their life. This is entertainment. I watch this to give me some giggles. After I get through giggling, I don't apply anything that they do on this TV to what I do. I do what I want to do because I'm grown. And I hope you do what you want to do because you're grown. No one should be telling you what to do. No one should be telling you to apply what these people do on this crazy show to your life. Okay? So Marcel, they're at the scene of the mansion, the Scott Manor, I believe is what it's going to be called. And we've seen it go from the concrete being poured, for them actually knocking the limestone out, pouring the concrete, putting up the steel beams. This is going to be a beautiful home whenever it's finished. When you building something like that, it takes some time. I'm gonna tell you what I heard the preacher say. It take a long time to turn a cruise ship. That little boat you got, that little 1,500 square feet, 2,000 square foot home, you may be able to roll it up real fast. But it take a long time to turn a cruise ship, right? 10,000 square feet gonna take some time to build. So we might as well sit back, chill, and relax and let them build Scott Manor. I love the very fact that the children showed up in their little hard hats and they were out looking at the property, because it's nothing like looking at what's yours, right? This is one day going to be my legacy. This is going to be something my parents are building for the family, something for us to have in the future. And I am so excited about that future. In doing so, they discussed the finishing of the modern house, which they call Whitehall. If y'all pay attention, they call everything by name. Whitehall would be the modern house that Marcel and Letitia are building, that they're going to put under Scott Realty, I believe. They're blasting and removing all that limestone. I'm sure it was expensive. I'm gonna tell you something. If you've ever built a home, we built this one. If you ever build a home from the ground up, baby, it is a bugbear. It is from the concrete to the, well, actually from the leveling of the ground, then the concrete, then the walls going up, and then sheetrock in the walls. And then you got, it's a lot that goes into building a home. And my house is a quarter. They're building 10,000 square foot, right? So I don't even have 10,000 square foot. So I can't even imagine how long it's going to take them. And they're not using these rinky-dinky, they're not using D.L. Morton and what are some of First Homes, right? Or some of the other home builders in the country. They're using their own construction company because her husband's a general contractor. So you can always imagine that when you are a general contractor, your stuff is kind of going to go up as you get time. You're going to build it as as you see fit, not when anybody else sees fit. I am so proud of them and their accomplishments and what they are doing in the city of Huntsville and in their community. That is something to be applauded. And I'm glad we're being able to see it, that we're able to see it this season. If I knew what I exactly, Sam, baby doll. Oh my God, baby. My husband, one day he called me, he's like, these people call me one more time. They call me one more time. And I was like, oh, baby, what's the problem? He was like, oh, today they want me to come and do X, Y, and Z. Or, it was always something. But it was an experience. Believe me, it was an experience. So I cannot imagine. They had to actually carve out a place to build a home. Because remember when he first took us up there and they in that terrain and they was going up them rocks and that 4x4. No, and you can actually see around the house that they're building it now. You can see where the limestone has been carved out. It's gonna be immaculate when they get done. I have no doubt that it's going to be beautiful. If people knew how long it takes to create a home. I know a lot of people are limited on construction, but it takes years to build when they are built. Exactly, it does. My relative built a 7,000 square foot home, 7,000, and it took them years. And I remember people kept asking, when is it gonna be done? When's it gonna be done? When's it? Baby, when I tell you they got a house, they got a house, they got a house, a house, and they designed every nook and cranny of this home. It's absolutely gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, let's go on back to the show. He did. I heard him say that they could not sell that. And I was like, yes, my mama did the same thing. You ain't selling my estate. Pinky swear. We're not selling no estates around here. Right. So he also talked about Jordan Lane. Jordan Lane is something that he's building for Maurice and Kimmy. It's their project. But he also discussed that he would be, that he's working on that project. So he was telling Letitia about all, I'm working here. I got this. And Letitia was like, I want my office completed, boy. When you going to finish my office? And he said, I think we could get it done in 30 to 45 days. And she said, okay, I'm going to hold you to that, 30 days. He said business days. Oh, Letitia's in her office. Somebody put in the chat if Letitia's in her office. He's like, no, 30 business days. 30 business days can be a long time if you think about it. Letitia also mentioned that she wanted to celebrate her mom. She wanted to do something and celebrate her mom. And she talks about putting Miss Wanda in the house. Marcel says, we have 10 acres out here. We could put her out there and there's plenty of wildlife she could eat. I thought that was hilarious. But of course, I'm sure Miss Wanda's going to have her room in the mansion. I mean, if she don't, Letitia going to throw a fit. So I'm sure Miss Wanda J. Blige is going to have her spot in that home. Again, I am super ecstatic and proud of the Scotts and the moves they are making in Huntsville. We don't ever want to overshadow what anyone is doing based on feelings, right? They are building, regardless of what it looks like. Being a general contractor is not easy. So I am really, really happy to see them making moves in Huntsville, Alabama. The next scene is Maurice. Hold on, before we go forward. Listen to her live. I did sound like our office was done. See? That's we got to get this office done. We're going to have to write Marcel some letters. We're going to have to send him a message. You're going to have to finish this office, boy. You get in there and finish. Marcel, if you're watching this, you get some hammers, some nails. You get them HVAC people over there and finish that air conditioner and finish that office space. Yeah, I love their relationship. I really think that they get along in real life. And you know what? I'll tell you something about marriages. I just happen to be in one for long periods of times. Marriage is what you make out of it, right? A lot of times the opposites attract, which is so true. And when you love someone, you're willing to oversee the faults that they have, right? One day you may wake up like, man, I don't like the way he opened his eyes. Has he always walked like that? I hate the way he walked. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of things. But when you love someone, you oversee all of that. When I say you overlook all of that. Me and mine have been together 29 years, Miss AKA. 30 years this September. And it hasn't always been easy, but it's been a whole lot of fun. A whole lot of fun because we crack on each other every day, all day long. Cowboy fan, Saints fan, baby. We go to town on each other talking about our teams. So definitely marriage is a job. It is a job. So I'm telling you, if you are married, and if you're not married, you probably shouldn't speak on people's marriage. You shouldn't want to see people divorced. You should be applauding them to stay together and stay married if they are married. And divorce happens too. So if if someone gets a divorce, I'm sure there's a reason, but no one should be applauding, go divorce him, go divorce him, go divorce him. And she's happy with him. If she's happy with him, stay with him. If he's happy with her, stay with her. No one should be applauding a divorce for people who are happy together. That's weird. You should check yourself. Anyhow. So the next scene is Maurice and Marquez having a meeting at Credit One. Girl, I don't know if this was just an opportunity for us to see Credit One. I don't know, but we're gonna go on into it. Marquez says that Trisha has made it difficult for him to see their daughter. Okay. And I want to emphasize that because Marquez keeps saying our minor children. We saw their son graduate from high school. Somebody put in the chat, did y'all see the son graduate last season? I could have swore I saw a son graduate last season. I think we did. So if the son graduated, most children are 17 or 18 when they graduate. That means he's not a minor. So we need to quit saying she didn't put our minor children in the divorce. The heck? Anyhow, Maurice actually says during their conversation, he says in his confessional that he didn't think Marquez was an introspective guy. Y'all know what introspective means. He meant that Marquez wasn't so bright. Marquez is living in an alternate reality. Some of the things that he said just don't make sense. Like, he believes Tisha still loves him. I don't believe that. I don't really understand why Latricia, I'm sorry, not Tisha. Ooh, scratch that, erase, back up. I don't understand why Latricia hasn't divorced him, but I don't think she still loves him. I think he pushes all of her buttons. For some people, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. And I don't think she really has had a reason to divorce him, right? And I don't think Ken has pressured her. But I think now is the time. This is the moment. This is the place. Get it done. Marquez contested the divorce, and he said he understands why Trisha loves Ken, because Ken is just like her daddy. When I tell you, Marquez is crazy. Then he says that if he wanted Trisha back, he could get her. Then why aren't you trying to get her? Why aren't you trying to get her back? Why aren't you out here, doing the things that you should be doing instead of walking in her house without waiting for someone to open up the door and let you in? Whew, honey. He said that he gave her to Ken. So I guess he handpicked Ken and then took Latricia over there and handed her off to Ken. You see how crazy that sounds? Okay. He said he knew. He said that when he married her, that his dad told him it would never work between him and Trisha. And so he said he knew by year 10 he had checked out. Year 12, 13, 14, it was over completely. So Maurice asked him, if you knew that, why didn't you divorce her? She filed for divorce. He goes, no, I filed for divorce. He said that he couldn't leave her at that moment. Then he backtracked and said he couldn't leave her at that moment because Trisha was dealing with a family situation. I guess he was talking about the death of her mother, her father, and her sister. Maurice then tries to put things into perspective, and he says, I don't really think Trisha wants you back. I don't know if Marquez heard any of that. But he said that he wanted to take family vacations. Marquez said he want to take family vacations with Trisha and Ken, and perhaps he could get him a woman and they could take these family vacations together. But child, the girl ain't going on no vacation with you. She don't even want to be in the same room with you. She doesn't. You really chap her hide. So I don't know. Maurice said that Marquez was setting unrealistic expectations when it came down to the co-parenting relationship that he should be expecting between Trisha and Ken. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. Again, Miss Mamas is weird. I am with you on that. Miss Mamas is out there. She is out there. I put in my notes, I think Marquez is delirious. I think Marquez is delusional. That's what I put in my. I believe he is out here going, having some issues, whatever that may look like. But I wonder what he was like when they first got together. I wonder what he was like in school. Was he? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The next scene is Tisha Scott and MJ driving in the car. I thought that was the cutest scene. They're driving and she asking MJ, about school. And she said, I can't believe you're grown and getting ready to go to college and you want to go to Michigan. And he says, yeah, she goes, I know why your dad wants you to go because he went to Michigan. He's from Michigan or whatever. And she said, aren't you going to miss me? And I know, because we've watched this boy grow up on this TV show. In fact, we watched all of Letitia's kids. When she first came on the show, she was pushing her youngest in a stroller. That's how long this, what are we, 10 seasons? And I think we've had some A, B, and C seasons, which kind of added to another year. But I cannot believe these kids are grown. But she said, I think I'm going to get a place around the campus. And he said, I don't think they'll allow, there's some type of regulations. They don't allow parents within a certain radius of the campus. I thought that was so cute. And I will tell you this, Letitia kept taking her eyes off that road a little bit too much for me. I was getting super nervous watching it. She was like, I was like, oh, girl, look straight ahead. You're driving. But I still think it was a really beautiful scene. MJ was saying that his dad was like a pillar to him. Yeah, when I tell you that warmed my heart because young men need men. They need a man to look up to, a strong man, a man who's doing it, a man who's out there who's working. When I say that really sent me into almost just choked up, not cried, but choked up. I'm a big Deion Primetime Sanders fan. When I tell you I love me some Deion Sanders. Anywho, and the reason why I think I am such a Deion Sanders fan is because he is such a guy's guy. He loves young people. He loves to touch their heart. He loves to train them. He loves to teach them. He loves to give them life lessons. And I think I see that same thing, not so much like Deion and Marcel. Marcel is he's crazy. Like sarcastic. You have to have a sarcastic mind to sometimes get his jokes. I get his jokes because I have that same kind of crazy sarcastic mind. And I think he's hilarious all of the time. But when his son said he was a pillar to him, I really felt like Marcel has done his thing with him. I'm going to read what Symmetry said. People used to look at her saying that, but I have friends who told their kids the same thing that really talked about packing up and moving closer to where their kids would be. It's not. Y'all, when I dropped my first one off at college, baby, I cried. When I tell you I cried. When we dropped the second one off at college, my husband had the camera. He was walking around with the phone. And I said, what are you doing? He says, waiting on you to cry. I'm just waiting on you to cry. As soon as I got in the car, he knew it was going to happen. He knew it was gonna happen. They tried to make Marcel an absent parent for so long, but he's been extremely impactful in several. Exactly. Oh, bad girl Riri. That is so true. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something about young men. They need someone to listen. They need someone they can talk to. And women, sometimes we feel like, well, I can raise a man. They need that man. They need a male figure. And I'm not putting anybody down, but men need another man they can talk to. I did that to help out and try to. Oh my God. Yes. Miss AKA. My husband was strong. He was like, let's go. We got him settled in. Let's roll out. I'm in the car. But yes, but my son is the oldest, just like MJ Maurice Jr. Marceau Jr., I'm sorry. And at first when he went to college, he didn't want to talk to his mom every day. But I was so used to seeing him every day and being there for him. But I will tell you this, as a young adult, he called his mommy every day. If it's just to say, Mama, how you doing? What's up, Mama? I hear from him every single day. Y'all, my stomach's growling because I hadn't had lunch. But we'll go on to that. And he said, Tisha said, you're not going to miss me. And he said, he paused for a while. And he said, of course he's going to miss his mama. I don't think any young person, he's just ready probably to explore the world. But he said that to him, when she said, what am I to you? He said, you're like a lineman. You keep me straight. That is why children need a mama and a daddy. They need both of them. They need two parents because they're going to have one that's going to be strong and one that's going to be soft. And they even out each other. He said, Tisha said, I am an enforcer. And so they leave that scene as they're driving down the road. Who knows where they were going. But I thought that was one of the most heartfelt scenes. Because, you think 18 years is a long time to have your kid, right? Oh, at 17, 18 years, and they go off to college. But it goes by so fast. Elementary, middle school, college. High school, then college. And my baby's now an adult. And what do you do when your children grow up? I remember saying to myself, what am I going to do with myself? These kids are growing up. Maybe I found something to do. I travel. Good luck. Good luck. I ain't gonna be babysitting. I'll see you. I'll see you when I get back. Right. But I really believe that these children are rounded. They are all around great children. Of course, she still has Macy and Mila to raise, but I really love that talk she had with her son. I believe that was so sweet. You say, Symmetry, my daughter basically lives down the street and has a whole family, but that girl calls it. I need to read my house keys. Exactly. I tell my son that, baby, turn them house keys in, because I look up and you just walk through the door. What you want? But I love the very fact that my little young adults love their mama. I love it. I love the fact that we can talk. I can call them and we just have great conversations. I love that. When I say I love that. And then let's see where we go. What's next? The next scene is, this is my first time doing a review by myself. So if I skip, fall, and twist around, I hope y'all enjoy it anyway. I love the fact, I want to plug this in here, that they're using the social media templates when they switch scenes. Anybody notice that? It looks kind of like an Instagram template, but it's not exactly with the little heart and the like buttons. I love that. I love the very fact that they're capitalizing off of the very fact that social media has been such a presence on this show. It says, me and my kids have the same sense of humor, so we exist. My kids send me stuff on TikTok. Mama, let's go to this restaurant Saturday. Let's go here Sunday. That kind of stuff. And I absolutely love it. Okay, bad girl, you saw it too. I love the very fact that they're using those templates between the scenes. I just love that. Capitalize. What Candy say? Make lemonade out of lemons. I love it. The next scene is at Ken and at Trisha's house. Okay, looks like they're gonna have another meeting with Marquez, and this time they've invited Sharon because they want Marquez to apologize to Sharon. Okay, so they're, Ken's giving Trisha a little pep talk, and he's rubbing on her leg, telling her to relax, it'll be all right. We hear the doorbell ring and door opens, and who comes in again? Boy, can you wait for someone to open up the door, let you in their home? You don't live here. You don't just walk in, even if the door is unlocked, you don't just walk in here. She did need an apology. Why you don't think she needs an apology living for me? Tell me why. You tell me why while I go on to the next part. Because I really, because I'm going to go through these messages before I end the live. But why do you say she doesn't need an apology? Because I think we missed part of that scene. No, I know we are understanding reality TV, but you don't just go, exactly. You walk in my house and see what you're going to meet. She was a guest. I agree with that. I agree with that. But I also think, because if you look back at the last episode, there's some parts that are missing, right? There is, like, you can see the editing because they didn't put them together good. They didn't splice them together very well. So I believe that we're missing something. And I do believe that you don't just jump on someone, but I also believe that they both came in each other wrong. That's just my thought. So Ken says he wants to have a meeting so he can clear the air and have a clear understanding of how they are to move forward and set some boundaries, right? And he said he was giving this one more try. So apparently the first little sit down they had, he felt like it didn't work. So he's going to give this one more try and see if Marquez could actually come around and be a halfway decent human. But we see how that ended up. Trisha even said when he said, "Oh, we're just going to give it one more try," she said, "That's asking a lot for me. That's asking a lot from me." And once again, I put Marquez comes in the door without being told to enter. Marquez comes in and says, "Where my drink?" Boy, sit down. Who invited you over here? You coming here and talking, where my drink? But I guess if you do invite someone to your home, you should have refreshments for them. That's a classy way to do it. But the way he comes off is just like, just go. Exactly. I cannot deal with him. I'm like, boy, who invited you over here? Exactly. And then so Ken starts talking, and he tells him, I want to set some boundaries. And Marquez says we should have set boundaries 2 or 3 years ago when y'all first started talking. How you go set boundaries on their relationship? Set boundaries on you and your relationship with your family. He said, but that's my fault. And then Trisha says, out of sight, out of mind. And then I also put down, you don't walk into someone's home without permission. And then he said that he wasn't going to let his daughter come in with 2 drinks and 3 bags. I'm going to have to go back and watch the last episode 1. But I didn't see him with any drinks or bags. Anybody else see any drinks? I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't your house. You should have probably stood outside knowing that you have a contentious relationship with your wife. Okay, you are entering her home that you do not live at. This is not your residence. You should have stayed outside and waited to be invited in. That's just how I feel about it. Maybe turn the doorknob. Yeah. Oh, sad baby doll, you don't like Ken either? I like Ken. I don't know if I say I like Ken. I'm here for Ken. I'm here for whatever you're talking about. I hope they can have a decent relationship. And I think maybe Ken's heart is just way too big, and he's just, exactly, his hands are empty. So where was Where was these 2 drinks and 3 bags at? The daughter, we did. I think we saw like a glimpse of the daughter, like she kind of rolled through real fast. But I didn't see him with anything. No 2 drinks, no 3 bags. So they're talking, and he asks Sharon, he does apologize. Marquez apologizes to Sharon, and he asks Sharon, does she want something to drink? He asked if she wanted something to drink, and he said, next time I'll just bring a bottle. He said, these people ain't gonna give us nothing to drink. No water, no cheese, no crackers, no nothing. So they're sitting there just talking, and Ken says, this is reality. Although these are your children, but right now this is my family. And Marquez says, you the bonus guy. You're the bonus guy. You're not even included in this. You're the bonus guy. And I really think that because Marquez thinks that because he's still married to Trisha, he thinks that what belongs to Trisha also belongs to him. Like I think that's part of the reason why he walked in the house. Part of the reason why he behaves and his mannerisms are like they are is because he feels as though because they're still married, he still has all the rights of a husband. And that's just what I feel. About that. What part of the statement did you not like, Miss AKA? The fact that he was the bonus guy? The black Jenny Bravo point. Okay. And that's fair. That is a fair statement. The black Jenny Bravo baby. That's hilarious. But let's kind of unpack that, right? Those are Marquez's biological children. But it has been said not only by Trisha, but also by Marquez that he walked away from his family, right? So when you walk away from your family, they're still yours. But family is also what you create, right? So Ken has created this. We heard Letitia say again last night on her live that Ken bought a home, moved Latricia and her children into the home, and is taking care of them. So with that being said, if you buy a home and you move your family into it, he's creating a family, right? Marquez walked away from his family. You can't walk away from your kids and then think that you have all the rights that are bestowed upon you when someone else is doing your job and raising your children. That's just my personal opinion. No one has to agree with me, but that's just my thoughts. He said, you are the bonus guy. He said, didn't I give you $500? And I really wish they had explored that $500 more. Was that just a one time? Is that what he's paying every month? But he did say that was for gymnastics. And in the middle of that, you kind of hear Ken say, do you know how much it costs for her to be in gymnastics? And if you have any children that are in cheerleading it costs a lot of money. Cheerleading camp is like thousands of dollars just to go, a couple of thousand, like $2,500 just to go to cheerleading camp. So I really believe that $500 is a tip for taking care of your children. That's a good point and actually valid. But at the end of the day, he wanted to hurt his feelings, and he did. Miss Mama was crying. And you're probably right. He did want to hurt his feelings. He did. I think because the way this kind of comes off, that I think that his point was to jab him, like, let me jab you with this because you ain't this and you ain't doing this. So I do definitely understand that. He said, no, when he said, I gave you $500, Ken responds with, no cool points for doing what you are supposed to do. And I agree, 100%. You don't get a buddy pass because you're out here supporting your children. You're supposed to support your children. That is a part of who we are. When you make a conscious decision to have children, you have to understand that children cost money. And that's maybe something we need to teach our young folks. Children cost money. And if you have children, you've got to raise them, and they're going to need clothes, shoes, food, shelter. They're going to need the same lights you need. They're going to need water. And if you have gas, they're gonna need gas. They're gonna need everything that you need. And as they grow older, they're gonna need whatever it takes in school. And then when they graduate, they're gonna need graduation pictures, cap and gown. I mean, you have fees continuously till they become adults. And then when they become adults, they come back for more money. Trust me, because their bills are just like regular people bills. It kind of hurt you. It hurt my feelings at all because I took care of my kids. So I have no kind of sympathy for people who don't take care of their kids. None. Zero. Zilch. Take care of your kids. I think you should be there for your children. I wouldn't want to be in his position. I wouldn't either because I really think that he's in between a rock and a hard place. I also think he's an opportunist. I think that the very fact that he saw an opportunity to be on the show, that Trisha was on the show and he could weasel his way in, I think he took that opportunity and joined the show. I really don't think that Marquez really wants to be anywhere near his children. I think this is all for show. I don't like the fact that Trisha's a whole engineer and people act like she's broke. I agree with that 100%. She's very well-rounded, military vet, also an engineer, and I think that is a good thing. He's very entitled, spoiled, and he's very irresponsible. When I say irresponsible, very irresponsible. So when Ken told him no cool points for what you're supposed to do, Marquez tells Trisha, you need to be real with yourself. Although he's having a conversation with Ken, he goes around Ken to talk to Trisha. You need to be real with yourself. Then he tells Trisha, this is all your fault. This is all your fault. And I put in my notes, Marquez is a clown. He's a clown. That's clown behavior. Although Trisha holds some guilt in this, you hold some too. She didn't do this by herself. She moved on with her life, right? And it's unfortunate that she didn't do it the cookie cutter way, the divorce, then moved on with her life. She moved on with her life as though you didn't exist anymore for whatever reason that may be. Maybe she couldn't get you served or whatever. Doesn't look like she's ever tried to file for divorce. But in doing so, the guilt is shared between the both of you guys. Just like she could have filed for divorce, he could have filed for divorce. So I didn't like that at all. And then he starts again with the minor children stuff. That's pretty much, I didn't realize I knocked my microphone down. Hope you guys could hear me. But that pretty much was the gist of the show. At first when I started watching, I was like, I don't want to hear nothing Marquez got to say. But I think in listening to him, it gives us all an opportunity to hear him out, hear his side of the story, hear what he actually feels, right? Even though it's like a riddle. He makes very little sense in what he's saying. I believe it does give him an opportunity to be human and to tell us what it was, what he's gone through, or his side of the story rather. And symmetry, girl, now that's a sermon. Some people move on and they never get a divorce. I was reading in the obituaries, I want to say last month, this man never divorced his wife, was living with this lady for years. The wife came in and took the home that this man and this woman had bought together. She took the home because she was his wife. Y'all, you got to put some stuff in place. It's unfortunate that people don't get divorces, and sometimes they don't get divorces for reasons just like that. They feel like they owe the ex-wife something or the wife something, so when they die, she can get everything they had. So there's always a rhyme and a reason. I don't know what the reason why Marquez and Trisha are not divorced, or why it took them so long to get to this point where they want to even to do a divorce, right? But whatever it is, I hope that they divorce. And I don't think Latricia wants to be married at all. I don't think she wants to be married to Ken, and maybe things are moving way too fast for her. But Child. Oh well. Your in-laws. See what I'm saying? Symmetry. It happens. It happens. What happened to that just happened? See, it's not uncommon. Sad baby doll knows somebody. I read about somebody in the paper. And I'm sure if I talk to some more people that I know, they know somebody else. Benefits. There you go. There you go. This is the reason why a lot of people stay married. Benefits, life insurance, health insurance, dental insurance, vision insurance. And I think I read somewhere that Ken had pretty much had a good job until he left Huntsville and went somewhere else, went to Atlanta. That he had a decent job, but that who knows where the benefits were coming from, because I believe that Trisha is a contractor. So sometimes contracting doesn't always give you those benefits. So who knows what the reason why they stayed married, but that's a good point. It could be for benefits. But came like a flood, saying, baby doll, you hear me? Came through and took it all. House, cars, checking accounts. I believe the lady was on the house, so I think they ended up like halving the house. But who wants to half a house with somebody that you didn't share a home with? That's really unfortunate. Let me go back through these comments and see if there's anything that I missed that we may need to talk about. Oh yeah, love generational wealth symmetry. When I say I love it, love it. I love it. The Bible talks about leaving an inheritance for your children. It says the man is to leave an inheritance for his children's children, not your children, for your grandchildren. And I love my papa because my papa left me an inheritance. My papa left me a legacy, and I love my papa. Love my papa for that very reason. And I haven't touched my inheritance or my legacy, but I am glad that he followed the Bible and he did exactly what the Bible said to do, to leave an inheritance. I thought that was hilarious too. He said, there's plenty of wildlife. She can go out here and got plenty of food to eat. Y'all, I am so glad, and I thank you guys for joining my live. I hope that you hit the like button, you share with a friend. Yes, that's true. Maybe for military benefits, because I don't know if she's retired, because you have to be retired to get TRICARE West or disabled, one or the other. So it could be for military benefits. Who knows? And that's why I won't mess with a married man. Baby, I know that's right, Sam baby doll. Who got time for that? Anybody got time for that? Because there's so much intertwined into relationships when you're married and you hadn't finalized. You need to deaden that, and then you can move on. Right. Right. A real one. Thank you, Papa. My mom always told me so many great stories about my grandfather. And oh my God, y'all, when I tell you the memories that I have, I never met my grandfather, but the memories I have of stories, and then to see him in 8mm rims that have been placed on DVDs, I could actually put a face with this person. It just warmed my heart. It just warms my heart. And I take care of my inheritance. Trust me, I do. I take very good care of it. Thank you guys for joining my live. I hope you have a great day. The rest of your day, I've got some things I've got to do so I can end mine, and I'm gonna go downstairs and make me some lunch because I'm hungry. But I hope you guys enjoy your evening. If no one told you today they love you, I love you, and there ain't a thing you can do about it. Stay tuned for my next few videos. I'm gonna do some lives talking about travel, talking about bargain traveling on a budget. We're just going to talk about it all. Just have some fun. And then I'm going to review this Love and Marriage Huntsville next week too. I don't know what day, y'all, because my life be busy. I be outside touching a whole lot of grass because I am that girl. Y'all have a great day. Talk to you later.